Hey, so today we're going to learn how to hook up to and safely pull a trailer. I realize this isn't really relevant to everybody, but if you're curious about getting into the trades, this is just kind of a basic skill that you should probably have. Or if you need to borrow somebody's lawnmower and you don't know how to pull a trailer, it's time to learn. We're just gonna go through the basics of how to hook it up, what you need to check on before you take off, how to safely, properly load the trailer, no matter what you're hauling, how to actually drive with the trailer, including how to back up, which takes some practice. I would recommend backing up around corners in an empty field before you have to take it out and get yourself in a bind at the gas station or something. I'm not a professional. I honestly still get kind of flustered sometimes when I'm trying to back into a tight spot. So, by the way, today's episode is sponsored by the Haley Taylor merch page. If you haven't checked it out yet, I will leave a link down in the description. So first of all, we want to check and make sure that your hitch is the right size. Most smaller trailers, lawnmower sized trailers, use a 2-inch hitch. It says on top of the ball what size it is. Backing up to the hitch can be kind of frustrating sometimes. Just take it slow. Get out and look a couple times to line it up. Once you've hooked up to that trailer a time or two, and you kind of know what it looks like from the driver's seat after you're hooked up, it makes it easier to hook it up next time. There are 4 steps on most trailers. The first step is, of course, jacking it down. We want to lock the ball into the hitch. Some type of latch right here. All of them look probably a little bit different. Some of them have an extra little pin to lock it in place. Some of them are just levers that stay down by themselves. Whatever the case, make sure that this part is latched. The second thing we want to check is your jack. So sometimes after you finish jacking the trailer all the way down, there's an extension on some trailers. We want to make sure this is pinned up. Once again, there's a few different styles. Some of them have springs on them, so make sure your hands are not close to the little platform when you pull this. Or some of them are a little more manual, where you just take the pin out, pull the piece up, and stick the pin back in. The third step is your safety chains. So to make the chains catch the hitch better, we're gonna cross them underneath and hook them to the opposite side of the truck. The fourth step is your trailer lights. Just plug it in here. You wanna go ahead and check at least your brake lights and make sure that the trailer plug isn't faulty. The lights actually do work on your trailer. So those are the 4 basic steps. There are some other things that you should check before you take off, even if you're not hauling anything yet. First of all, going to run back through those 4 things, put your eyes on each of those things we just listed, double check, make sure they're done. Then we're gonna check your tires. Not saying you have to get a tire gauge out and check the air in all of them. Just make sure none of them are flat. Next, we're gonna talk about how to load the trailer. You most definitely want to avoid loading the heaviest things towards the back of the trailer. So most of the weight should be balanced over the tires or towards the front. Let the vehicle carry some of the weight, depending on what kind of vehicle you're pulling it with and what kind of trailer you have. But if you have the heavy stuff at the back, it's gonna throw you off balance. Let's say, for instance, that we are hauling a lawnmower right now. Plenty of space on this trailer. I'm gonna pull the lawnmower up. Basically, what we're trying to do here is make sure the trailer stays level. When it's level, it rides smoother, it's easier to back up. Let's talk about how to safely strap it down. So you'll need 2 ratchet straps at least. And we always want to strap to something that's not sharp because it could rub and cut through the strap. We want to strap it to something that's not going to break. Don't just strap it straight down. It'll allow the object to move too much. You want both ratchet straps pulling against each other so that it makes it tight and keeps it there. There are a few different ways to tie the tail of your ratchet strap. We definitely want to make sure it's not dragging the ground, you're not running over it. So it's important for you to watch your rearview mirrors as you're driving down the highway in case a strap comes loose or just the tail is flapping in the wind. I'll dive more into ratchet straps specifically in a separate video. If your trailer has ramps, we want to make sure that, of course, the ramps are back in their position before you take off. Some of them have pins or locks. If you're pulling a gooseneck trailer, the steps are basically the same. and they're actually a little bit easier to maneuver, even though they're typically bigger and more intimidating. Okay, now that everything is strapped down, we've checked our brake lights and our tires and everything's good to go, we're gonna take off. It's important to remember that the trailer does not move like the truck does. So our turns need to be wide, or if we're at the gas station and you get close to the pump, you can't just turn straight away from the pump, or the trailer's gonna pivot and the tail of it could bump into the gas pump. Also, understand that you cannot stop on a dime when you're pulling a trailer. You need to give yourself time to come to a complete stop. Extra weight of the trailer can wear your brakes down really fast, especially if the trailer itself doesn't have brakes. If your vehicle has this button right here, we want to turn it on while you're driving. It just helps the truck pull a little better. To successfully back up a trailer, you need to first of all get the trailer pointed the direction that you want it to go before you start backing up. So say I pull around this way, but I want the trailer to come this way. I'm gonna turn my truck a little bit more and keep going forward until the trailer is pointed in that direction. I hope this makes sense. Then as far as which way to turn while you're backing up, you're gonna put your hands on the bottom of the steering wheel. Whichever direction you're pushing that steering wheel is the direction that the trailer's going to follow. So you push the steering wheel to the right, the trailer's gonna go to the right. Push the steering wheel to the left, the trailer's gonna go to the left. A big mistake that most people make is overcorrection. When you're backing up, it doesn't take a full spin of the steering wheel to get you going the right direction. You just need to take it slow. So the same rules apply when you're unhitching the trailer. Of course, we want to make sure the trailer's empty. We want to do everything backwards. So unhook your lights first, your safety chains second, put the extension down if your jack has an extension. If your jack doesn't have this platform, we want to make sure we put a board under it so it doesn't sink into the ground and make it impossible for you to hitch up to next time. Then we're going to unhook the latch, jack it up. Also, if your jack is making a whole bunch of noise when you are using it, it probably needs greased. Look for these grease certs. We're gonna use the grease gun. If you're still here, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Like I said, I'm not an expert at any of this. I just think it could be helpful. If there's something you'd like to see next weekend, leave it in the comments.